everybody. I'm reading another. I saved this as a book, but I'm reading another one of my books that I wrote. It's called The Forbidden Innocence, and I did it a little differently. These are on the front. They are the three characters, like these two women. No, these two are the main characters, but yeah, like he's like a kind of a main character, like a minor character, but it's a different kind of book. And it does have some swearing, forewarned. Ouch. Prologue. 2 weeks later, nothing feels real anymore. It wasn't supposed to be this way. By now, I should have been far from this place, free from the chaos that had swallowed my life whole. Liam and I had planned everything, our escape, our future, the quiet life we were going to build together. But Brian couldn't control the jealousy simmering inside him. The anger he'd been hiding behind forced smiles and clenched fists, and now Liam is bleeding in my arms because Brian pulled the trigger. The rain pours down on restless sheets, soaking through my clothes and mixing with the blood on my hands. Liam's breaths are shallow, each one weaker than the last. I can hear the ambulance somewhere close, its siren cutting through the storm like a desperate promise. Brian stands only a few feet away, the gun still trembling in his grip, his face twisted with something between rage and regret. You asshole, how could you? The scream tears out of me before I can stop it, raw and shaking. My voice cracks and the sobs follow, unstoppable. The police are shouting commands, ordering Brian to drop the weapon, to get on the ground, to do anything except stand there like a ghost who doesn't understand what he's done. I don't know if he listens. I don't care. All I can see is Liam. I look down at him, brushing wet hair from his forehead with trembling fingers. His eyes struggle to stay open, searching for me through the blur of rain and pain. Don't cry, my love, he whispers, the words barely audible, barely there at all. And in the moment, the world feels like it's collapsing, slow, heavy, and merciless. Chapter 1. The first thing I remember is the buzzing, a low electric hum that crawled under my skin. It made everything feel unreal, like I was floating just outside my own body. When I opened my eyes, the ceiling above me was a blinding white. Too bright, too smooth, too perfect. It took a moment for the truth to settle in. I wasn't home. I wasn't anywhere familiar. I was in a hospital, a mental hospital. They told me later that I had found wandering the street barefoot at 3 a.m, shaking, crying, and talking to people who weren't there. I don't remember any of that. What I do remember is the fear, sharp, cold, and sudden, like something inside me had snapped without warning. One moment I was fine, or at least pretending to be, and the next I was drowning in thoughts I couldn't control. The nurses said I had a dissociate episode. The doctors used words like trauma response and emotional overload. They asked about my past, about the things I had never talked about the memories I kept locked away because they hurt too much to touch. They wanted to know what triggered it, what pushed me over the edge. I didn't have an answer. All I knew was that something inside me had been building for a long time. Pressure, grief, fear, anger, and that night it finally broke through. Now I'm here in a place where the door is locked from the outside and the windows only open a few inches. A place where time moves slowly, measured in medication schedules and therapy sessions. A place where everyone speaks softly, like they're afraid loud voices might shatter me. Maybe they're right. I sit on the edge of my bed, staring at the pale blue walls, trying to piece together the moments that led me here. I keep thinking if I can understand what happened, I can do it, fix it, go back to being the version of myself I used to be. But deep down, I know that version is gone. And whatever comes next, I'm not sure I'm ready for it. The clothes they gave me on my first day barely counted as clothes at all. A thin, papery gown that tied in the back and felt like it could rip if I breathed too hard. No socks, no underwear, nothing that could be considered comfortable or dignified. They said it was for safety, but it felt more like a punishment, like the world was reminding me how fragile I had become. I earned sweatpants and a t-shirt on my third day. Earned, that's the word they used, as if surviving my own mind was some kind of achievement they were graded. The shirt had the drawstrings removed, the sweatpants too. Everything here was designed to keep us from hurting ourselves or each other. Even the pencils in the art room were dull enough to barely write. This morning, a nurse named Carla handed me my clothes with a small smile. Group therapy today, she said, like it was supposed to be exciting. You're doing well enough to join. I wasn't sure if that was a compliment or a warning. The group room was a circle of mismatched chairs, each one occupied by someone who looked just as lost as I felt. Some stared at the floor, some stared at the walls, some stared at nothing at all. I hovered in the doorway until the therapist, Dr. Hale, motioned me in. Sarah, right? Come sit, wherever you feel comfortable. Comfortable? In here? The word didn't mean much. I chose a chair near the window, even though it only opened 3 inches and showed nothing but the parking lot. 2 men sat across from me, one with soft brown hair that fell into his eyes, tapping his foot like he was trying to keep himself tethered to the room. The other sat perfectly still, hands folded, eyes sharp and unreadable. Liam and Brian. I didn't know their names yet, but something about them pulled at me. The two opposites ends of a magnet I hadn't realized I was caught between. Liam glanced up first. His smile was small, hesitant, but real. The kind of smile that made you feel even seen instead of studied. Brian didn't smile at all. He just watched me, his gaze heavy, assessing like he was trying to figure out what kind of broken I was. Dr. Hale began the session with the usual soft voice introduction about sharing space and supporting one another. I barely heard him. I was too aware of the thinness of my shirt, the way the fabric clung to my skin, the way the room felt too warm and too cold at the same time. When it was my turn to speak, my throat tightened. I don't really know why I'm here, I said, which was only half a lie. Something happened. I don't remember all of it. Sorry, but Liam nodded like he understood. Brian didn't move. Dr. Hill encouraged me gently. You're safe here, Sarah. That's what matters right now. Safe, another word that didn't mean much in this place. But as the session went on, I found myself glancing at Liam's steady presence, at the way he listened to everyone with genuine attention, and then at Brian, whose silence felt like a storm waiting for the right moment to break. I didn't know it yet, but this room, the circle, was where everything would begin, and where everything would eventually end. Chapter 2. The days in the hospital blur together, stitched into a routine that feels both suffocating and strangely comforting. Wake up, medication, breakfast, group therapy, lunch, quiet hour, more therapy, dinner, lights out. The schedule never changes, but the people do. Their moods shift in like weather patterns, unpredictable and sometimes dangerous. I'm still getting used to the clothes. The sweatpants are soft but shapeless. The t-shirt thin and stretched from too many washes. No strings, no pockets, nothing that could be used the wrong way. Even the socks they give us are slip resistant. Like they expect us to run, but want to make sure we don't get far. On my 4th morning, Carla escorts me to group therapy again. You did well yesterday, she says, her voice warm but professional. Keep showing up like that and you'll earn more privileges. Privileges? The word tastes strange out here. Out there, privileges meant choices, and here it means getting a real pencil instead of a crayon. The group room is already half full when I walk in. Liam is there, sitting in the same chair as before, tapping his foot in the restless rhythm. When he sees me, he gives the small, gentle smile again, the one that makes something in my chest loosen just a little. Brian sits 2 chairs away from him, posture rigid, eyes fixed on the floor. He doesn't look up when I enter, but I feel his attention anyway, like a cold draft slipping under a door. I take my seat near the window again. Liam leans forward slightly, lowering his voice. Rough morning? I shrug. They woke me up at 6 for vitals. That's practically noon around here, he says, and there's a softness in his tone that makes me want to smile even though I don't. You'll get used to it. Brian's foot stops tapping. His head lifts just enough for his eyes to flick toward us. The look is quick, sharp, and gone in an instant, but leaves a chill behind. Dr. Hale enters, clipboard in hand. Good morning, everyone. Today we're talking about grounding techniques, ways to stay present when your mind tries to pull you somewhere else. He goes around the circle, asking each person to share something that helps them stay calm. When he gets to Liam clears his throat. I count things, he says, patterns, colors, sounds. It keeps me from spiraling. Dr. Hale nods approvingly. That's a great strategy. When it's my turn, I hesitate. I don't have a strategy. I barely have a grip on myself. I focus on breathing, I say finally, or I try to. Sometimes it works. Liam gives me a small nod like he understands exactly what I mean. Brian's turn comes last. He sits back, arms crossed. I don't need grounding techniques, he mutters. I'm not the one losing control. The room goes still. Dr. Hale doesn't flinch. Brian, everyone here is working on something. That includes you. Brian's jaw tightens. I'm fine. But his eyes flick toward me again, and something about the look makes my stomach twist. It's not admiration. It's not curiosity. Something darker. Something hungry. After a group, we file out into the hallway. Liam catches up to me, walking at my pace. You handled that well, he says. Brian can be intense. That's one word for it. He laughs softly. Don't worry, he's all bark. But I'm not so sure. There's something in Brian's silence and the way he watches people that feels like a warning. As we reach the common room, Liam pauses. If you ever want someone to talk to, I'm around. It's such a simple offer, but in this place where everything feels fragile and temporary, it means more than he knows. I nod. Thanks. He heads toward the art table and I watch him go, feeling a strange warmth settle in my chest. Then I feel it, that prickling sensation on the back of my neck. I turn. Brian is standing at the end of the hall, staring at me with an expression I can't read. Not yet, but one day it will, and it will change everything. Chapter 3. And I'm going to pause there, and then there will be part 2.